Welcome to Wedding Tips. I'm Matt DeConti. Today we have a very special show. We have our, as usual, wedding tips. We have a very special guest giving the wedding tips, and we have an amazing promotion. So stay tuned for the end of the show. Make sure you watch it all the way through. You're not going to want to miss this. Usually I don't do promotions on my shows, so today you got to know there must be a reason. So we are coming from Yorkshire, and we have our special guest, Roger the Castleman. And Roger is he takes care of over 93 castles. And I'll let Roger here get a little more introduce himself and talk a little bit more about what he does and who he is. Roger, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm great, Matt. Thank you so much for having me on your show. And I'm delighted to be able to share a couple of wedding tips
All
from here in the
right.
UK.
Well, that's fantastic. We're excited to have you. So tell us where you work for. What do you do?
Our company's called Celtic Castles. And what we do is we help people have fantastic experiences in historic castles. So imagine somebody in a different part of the world thinking, oh, wow, I'd like to get married in a castle. Where do you start? This business started actually through bad service.
Really?
I saw a little advert in the London Times which said Crofts and Castles, and I like to stay in unusual places. So I sent off for this booklet, which was gorgeous when it arrived, but there were no crofts in it. It was all bungalows, single-story houses, and there were two castles that really, when I looked at them, I thought, who would want to stay in a castle like that? They were pretty grotty. But I just started to ask the question, how would somebody find a castle to stay in? And this is just as the internet was coming along. So I spent actually 18 months looking for castles in Scotland and could only find 4 that were advertising. So what I did was I got the brochures, we put them on the internet, and somebody from New York, after a couple of hours, filled a form in. I wondered, what do I do now? So I phoned up the castle, checked the availability, and sent the information back to this chap. And he instantly sent his credit card details back on the next email. And I said, blimey, now what do I do? So I phoned up, made the booking, and emailed the client back to say everything was in place. And I just said, normal agent's commission. And they said, fine, yes. And I put the phone down and wondered what that was. And in 4 months, we gave these 4 castles more business than they'd ever seen before. So we said at the start, we knew the internet was going to sort of change the way travel agents and way marketing worked for hospitality and tourism. So we sell at the same price as the castles. Our job is to market those castles, and we want to get to know those properties better than anyone else. So the privilege that I have is not just helping customers from all over the world find castles to stay in or get married in, but also getting to know the owners and help them find the best ways to market their properties. So it's a fabulous job. I have to pinch myself every day, and I get to sample and experience a lot of the things that our customers do and get to share those. So I feel very, very blessed.
That's
Matt.
beautiful. Yeah, lucky man, lucky man. So what we're gonna do now, and I couldn't think of anybody who would have more knowledge than destination weddings and what couples need to do or need to look out for, because most of the time, these couples that are getting married for the first time, they're not sure how to go about it. So I was wondering if you could help us help our couples out, give them a couple pearls of wisdom here on some tips for destination weddings.
I can, Matt. I think the first thing is it's location, 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 and style of castle. So number one, work out, where in the UK or Ireland that you might want to get married in a castle. And then from there, it's the style of castles. So are you looking for something that's got stone walls, looks medieval, etc., filled with 4-poster beds? Or are you looking for something that's a little bit more boutiquey? A lot of the castles are being refurbished now, and the look and feel inside, can be very, very modern with the old exterior. So it's location and style of castle, really. That's the first thing to look at. The next thing is sort of budget and the number of people that you want to attend, because you can have a wedding for two and you can have a wedding with 250 people if you wish. And there are a few castles big enough to host those types of events. But yeah, work out how much you want to spend. There's a lot of money getting across into these locations, and if you've got a large number traveling with you, the logistics can be quite a lot. So yeah, budget and numbers really are the two key things. One thing I would say that you don't need to worry too much about, people get wrapped up in the paperwork, etc. There are experts on site, and we have experts in the Celtic Castles team who can help you get through the logistics of getting married abroad. But what a lot of people do is they'll actually get married in their country of origin and then have a blessing, which looks like a wedding in the UK or Ireland, and everything flows very, very smoothly. But the paperwork element, there's always going to be an expert at the castle, or there's an expert here who can help make that as easy as possible. So those are my top three.
Those are excellent tips and extremely helpful. Now, I was wondering what actually I've been looking forward to is if you could share a little bit about some of these castles. And we have three in particular for you to talk about. And the first one here is Forter Castle, and this one's in Scotland. What can you share with us about Forter Castle?
Well, Forter Castle, the last time I stayed there, it was my sister's wedding anniversary and my wife's 50th birthday party. So we had a joint time together. It's a wonderful castle, about an hour and a half from Edinburgh. It's in the Highlands of Scotland, and it's a tower house. It was built in the 16th century. It only stood for 60 years, believe it or not, and then lay ruined for 350 years. And it was rebuilt and refurbished in 1990. The castle itself will sleep 16 people, and it's beautifully furnished inside, down to the detail of Ralph Lauren sheets, etc. And the owner's daughter is a top interior designer who helps people all over the world. So when you walk into this place, it feels very, very special. The Great Hall is fabulous, and a huge fireplace in there, and you just relax in this, but it's the views from the outside. It literally sits on its own in a valley. The castle itself as well has a beautiful little chapel on the ground floor, and that's really petite but really, really special. So it's a nice little castle where you can get, or as they say in Scotland, a wee castle, where you can have a wedding ceremony. But it really feels like the Highlands. It's got an Outlander feel about it. It's just really peachy.
Beautiful.
Really nice.
Yeah, I have taken a look at this castle, seen some of the videos and shots as our viewers have just experienced right now, and it is gorgeous. The second one that I would like to talk about is Glynn Castle in Ireland. Tell us about this one, Roger.
Glynn's a gorgeous castle that just sits on the shores of the River Shannon. So it's very easy to get to through Shannon Airport. The property itself will sleep up to 30 people. Now, it's been closed for about 7 years because the last knight of Glynn sadly passed away. But they've just reopened it again, and it's always been a favorite of mine over the years, so I'm delighted to see it available again. The castle itself, I was there in June this year, and we had a motorcycle trip. So when we popped in, it was great. When we arrived, we popped in a boat. We just got on the ferry to Kerry, as they call it, and that's just 6 kilometers away from the castle. And as we got there, they said, right, we're jumping on a boat and we're going back to County Clare. So we went back across the Shannon as the sun was going down. And would you believe it, Matt? They were dolphins.
Wow.
Jumping on the side of the boat all the way across. And of course, when we got to the pub in Clare, there were 4 pints of Guinness sitting on the bar when we
Couldn't
arrived.
be better well timed. Yeah.
Oh, indeed, indeed. But I think one of the lovely things about any castle in Ireland, and Glynn's no different, it's the experiences that you go home with. And, this is a special place. It's like walking into somebody's home. It feels very, very relaxed, and the team there really look after you. So again, it's a lovely wedding venue. 30 people there. It's a private. You'd have the whole place to yourself. And getting back to beer, and don't think I drink too much of this stuff, but when I'm in Ireland, a pint of Guinness
Oh
goes
yeah.
down well. The village is within walking distance, and there are six
Oh
pubs
my
in the
gosh.
village.
Perfect. That's
It's a
gorgeous.
tiny
That's
village as well,
perfect.
Matt.
What I mean, what more could he ask for? If you're gonna go out there, you gotta have the village close by, walking distance. Absolutely. All right, so the third one, this one is in England. It's Langley Castle. Tell us about Langley.
Well, I was up there a few weeks ago. We've had a heat wave here, Matt, and one of the lovely things about Langley is it's a sandcastle castle. It's got four towers around the edge. Now, this is a 14th century English castle, and you can actually see Hadrian's Wall when you're up on the top of the castle. So it's in a great historical position. There are 9 rooms in the castle. It's got loads of history, and it was a garrison castle. So it's got 12 garter robes. Now, those are actually toilets in the castle. And that meant that, when they were defending, they could live there for a long, long period of time. One of the other interesting things about this castle is the fact that all the original stone, or most of it, is still there in the castle itself. Because what would happen in the past is when these castles were ruined, the stone would be used to build other properties. But this is quite unique because it's got most of its original stone, which makes it a
Oh,
special
that's
place.
beautiful. I love the history behind
Yeah.
these castles, and that's just three of the castles. Your all of your castles is well over 90, right? You got like
Yeah, yeah, we've got
yeah,
over 90 castles, and every single one is different, Matt. There's no
right.
two the same.
And there
All
you
very
got them
unique.
in Scotland, Ireland, England, all over the UK.
We've got them in Wales and a
Oh
few in
wow,
France as
that's
well.
beautiful. I love it. So basically, what we're gonna do, without further ado, is announce what we got going. So Roger and I have come together with a fairy tale wedding promotion. So we're working together, and we're going to provide to you this promotion. I'll go ahead and discuss what I'm going to do first. Anybody who is considering or is engaged, the first thing to do is to think locally. Oh, let's just do something local. Let's go to the local church. Um, that's great. You can have family, but then there's the side that's like you're spending a lot of money. You're having to invite people from work that you'll probably never see again. I mean, you might see them for the next couple of years, but then years down the road when you have kids, you won't even know who you invited or remember who you invited to your wedding. And I am definitely not discouraging that, but one option I want you to keep in mind is what Roger does is having a destination wedding. And with that, I am going to provide free photography. I am going to give the engagement session. I'm going to a full day of professional wedding photography. You get edited images. You get it on a flash drive. You get multiple options for wedding photo album. You have an option of a wedding videography, and this isn't just for local in California. This is if you are in the UK or if you're in any other country or any other state in the US, and you're interested in this, you're going to get free wedding photography from DeConti Photography. And with that, Roger is going to go ahead and explain what Celtic or Celtic? Celtic is the
Celtic or
right way to
Celtic, but
pronounce it is
yeah.
Celtic castles. What they're going to provide, what he and Celtic Castles will provide.
Well, Matt, probably what I should also say is one of the things that got us together was your photography. And one of the things that I noticed straight away was your attention to detail and the way that you capture intimate moments with people. And I know when I spend time at the castles, and I'm an amateur photographer, not at your level at all, everything I do is about capturing our experiences there. So I take lots of photographs and enjoy then creating books at the end of that experience. So that's what really stood out for me when we first touched base. But what are we going to do here? Well, basically, the winner of this competition will have direct access and contact with myself. And what I will be happy to do is to help source the castle of their fairy tale dreams. So, as I have slept in all of the castles at least once, I know how they operate and I know which castles will work for the couple who win this prize. We'll also offer a gift voucher, normally used when a wedding is booked with us, but that gift voucher, and that will be to the value of £100, will be available to use for this wedding. So they can use that as a discount when they're buying the castle wedding itself. And obviously, you know, the package that you're offering is immense, and will give them those memories that last forever.
I can't wait. And I encourage you all to consider this. If you look at some of the castles that are on CelticCastles.com, take some time. There's some beautiful shots and sceneries and all year long. I've seen some, I've noticed on the Instagram that you have some of the shots that were taken during the winter with the beautiful snow. I've seen some that with the sunsets and just all over. I mean, this is something that memories that will last a lifetime and would be completely unique to have for a wedding. So, Roger, it's so good talking to you. I know it's probably a little bit late there tonight, but I want to thank you for coming on with us. And I am going to leave all of Roger's information down below, and his contact information we will put up. And you can contact myself or Roger, and just make sure you mention Diconti Photography or this video promotion and or the Fairytale Wedding promotion. So thank you all for watching, and we'll see you on the next Wedding Tips.
Matt, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure spending time with you.